Fox News contributor, Dr. Nicole Saphier, former White House physician for two presidents, President Obama, President Trump, now Congressman Ronny Jackson. You had said, Congressman, number one, you wanted Joe Biden to take the same cognitive test that Donald Trump took and got all 30 answers correct. Have they gotten back to you? And you don't think he's going to be able to finish the 4-year term of his. Explain.
Well, Sean, Joe Biden is not a fine wine. This is not going to get better with time. This is only going to get worse. And I've been saying that from the very beginning. I was talking about this when he was candidate Biden, and I said something's not right and it's going to get worse. And it is. It's getting worse with time. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to get back to me on that cognitive test anytime soon. I don't expect to hear from them because he won't do well on it. And we all know that at this point. We don't actually even need a screening cognitive test right now with all the stuff that he's putting out there right now and the crazy things he's saying to tell us that he's not fit to be our president right now. But this is just going to continue to get worse, Sean, and eventually the Democrats are going to have to address this issue. And it won't be me talking about it a year from now. It's going to be the Democrats talking about it, and they're going to be trying to figure out how they can remove him from office because the Democrats, the far left, and the mainstream media will not be able to cover this up for very much longer.
Well, it does raise questions about what people knew as he was running and hiding in his basement bunker in 2020. Dr. Nicole, we have shown many examples of this program. Joe Biden in 2012, Joe Biden in 2016, and we show on a regular basis Joe Biden today. I'm not a medical professional. I won't play one on TV, but it is an obvious, clear, dramatic cognitive decline. Do you see it?
Well, Sean, 2/3 of Americans on average will have some form of cognitive decline by the age of 70. So our 78-year-old president, is he demented? Does he have cognitive decline? I don't know. I'm not a neurologist. I'm not a neuropsychiatrist. But as someone who has watched him speak, most recently at the CNN town hall, is he coming across as an inarticulate and kind of bumbling speaker at times? Absolutely. Oftentimes he's so incoherent that I'm not understanding what he's saying, and I just find myself shaking my head. So it's very frustrating, and I think it does need to be addressed.
Okay, but as for example, I can look at Bernie Sanders. I don't see Bernie Sanders, same age, sharp as a tack, with the same energy that he had in 2012 and 2016. You see the energy of Donald Trump. You may not like what he says, but he's on the ball and he's clearly aware. Stammer, stumble, mumble, bumble. To me, and when 57% of the American people don't even think he's in charge anymore in the White House, that is a frightening number, including independents and Republicans and about 33% of Democrats. Ronny Jackson.
Yes, sir, Sean, I agree with you, and I agree with Dr. Saphier. I don't know what's going on with him either. I'm not his physician. I haven't examined him. But I will agree with her that, I've said this before. We all know people that are 100 years old or close to 100 that are just as sharp as a tack. And we all know people that are in their early, mid-60s that are already starting to have difficulty. Everyone ages differently. Unfortunately, President Biden is on the earlier end of that spectrum in my estimation, and he's not aging gracefully at this particular point from a cognitive standpoint. So it will continue to get worse. There will continue to be more bad days and fewer good days. They will struggle to find days to roll him out and get him in front of the cameras, and we'll see as time goes on, he will be more and more reclusive because his team's not going to be able to roll him out there and put him in front of the American people without really telegraphing that something is really going on here that we need to address.
And Dr. Saphier, wouldn't it be true that if in fact there is cognitive decline, it's not something that usually gets better? Usually over a period of time, it's a degenerative condition. I would assume with the pressures of the hardest job in the world, being president of the United States, that could accelerate any real condition that he has. Would that be a fair assessment?
Sure. Absolutely. And if you're talking about degenerative cognitive decline, yes, you're right. It usually does not get better. There are other causes that can, but not when it comes to age-based and degenerative. If it does come forth that there is some sort of cognitive decline, yes, that needs to be disclosed. Yes, that needs to be addressed. I can tell you, I have never spoken to him directly, so I really don't know, but I can say I have had the privilege of being able to interview former President Trump now twice, and he is, as you say, sharp as a tack. That man can answer any question question on the just like that. And, sometimes he has me coming up with more challenging questions because he knows his stuff.
Is there any medication, Dr. Jackson, that might be available that could slow the process, assist the president in the interim, or am I right that the pressures of this job and the condition often being degenerative, not getting better, would it be a situation where there's nothing that's going to stop decline once it starts?
Well, there's nothing that's really going to stop it, Sean. There's certain things that can make it a little bit better. There are medications out there that they use for Alzheimer's patients. There are medications out there that they use as stimulants that can make people more awake and more alert for short periods of time. But it doesn't stop the process from actually happening. It just kind of covers it up. And as time goes on, those medications will become less and less effective. So, yeah, it's going to be a real problem for them in the long run, and they're not going to be able to cover this up for much longer. And, there will come a point, like I said, Sean, where they're going to be faced with a choice.
Mm-hmm. If they're
going to be faced with the choice that he can either resign or we can do the 25th Amendment. There are going to be
some really important questions, like who knew what, when about maybe some conditions that he had, because he spent an awful lot of time in his basement, in his bunker, and rarely campaigned and would disappear for long periods of time prior to any big moment or event during the campaign. That will be examined thoroughly. Thank you, Dr. Sapphire, Dr. Jackson.